Are we ready? Going, dear? Okay. In your packet, you'll find there's two sides on the packet. One side is all the recipes I did today, plus a few extras for you to experiment with. Then the other side is an informational side. And the first thing that you're going to find in that side is a packet that looks like this. It has apples on it. And I did not realize, I could not find one website that had just the apples that I tend to see in the store. So you have all the apples from North America in here that you can find. So you can find your favorites. It tells you what the kind of a flavor it has. It tells you how big they are. It tells you what kinds of things you can use them for. It's actually a pretty nifty little thing, but that's just for your own information. We're not going to sit here and go through all the different kinds of apples, because that would take us the rest of the evening. The one that's right underneath it, though, comes from the site that's called Forks Over Knives, and I don't know how many of you might have watched Forks Over Knives. They have a wonderful website that you can pull recipes off of for free. And you'll find that a lot of the recipes I do use come from them because they do have such a wide variety of recipes. But this one is an article from there on important facts about apples. Now, the reason I chose apples is because my neighbor has a tree right now that the branches are about to break because the apples it's so loaded this year. And this is the time of year when apples are picked. So that was why we ended up with apples, and more apples. Tells you how to store them. Cool, dry space. Single layers. Don't pile them on top of each other. Because like most things, if one goes bad, it's going to make the one it's touching go bad as well when you put them on top of each other. I don't know if you've ever dug down through potatoes and you find that you get down past the first couple layers and the one went bad in the bottom and now a whole clump of them are gone bad. So the same thing would happen with apples. It also has some information in here about freezing raw apples. You can freeze them raw. It will change the consistency of the apple. So you're probably better off cooking them first. Although I haven't frozen apple pies. How are the apples, dear, in the apple pies? Yeah, I do freeze apple pies for him that are uncooked. And then I bake them when I take them out. And they seem to turn out fine. I'm not an apple pie fan, I just make them for him. They will keep frozen for up to 6 months. After that, they, like most things, they lose some of their goodness. It tells you how to do oven-dried apple slices, and I wanted to do some of those for tonight, but I just didn't have the time this week to get that done too. And the weather didn't cooperate with going out to pick apples either on the days I wanted to pick apples.
She should have told me.
But they also are good probiotics in apples, and that's why you have the next sheet that's in your packet. It talks about flavonols.
Is that why an apple a day keeps the doctor away?
Why? Because it has good probiotics in it?
Yeah.
Probably. Flavonols, I gave you this one because, and I'm not going to go through all of it, but if you notice the title under the picture of the apples, it says low flavonol intake may lead to memory loss. And the study, this is actually a paper about the study
Leads to
about
what?
flavonols. Hang on.
But what's it lead to?
Somebody throw something at that man. He does that to me all the time, and he knows I'm distracted right now. He got away with it. Usually he doesn't. The study is really interesting, and it's a valid study because they did it over a large group of people over a large length of time, and that's the best studies are done that way. But what they found about flavonols was it does have a difference in memory loss. But what caught my eye, of course, other than the picture of apples on the front of the article, is when you look down on, the fourth page, it gives you the top foods for flavonols. And the one at the top of the list is apples. So the apple a day may keep the doctor away because you can remember that you don't need to go see him. But it's well worth your time to read if you at all are interested in nutrition. Which, that's part of the reason to be a vegetarian is because of the better nutrition. So that article is really, you'll find that when I give you a packet, there's always going to be a few little weird odd things in there that I just came across that I wanted to share. They might not have anything to do with what we're talking about that week, but I just wanted to share them. The next one is Fork Over Knives Guide to the Fall Fruits and Vegetables. What's fresh now? Because they are big advocates of the fresher the better. And of course, the fresher something is, the better the nutrition is in it, the better the vitamins keep, and something that's fresh, you're going to get better vitamins. So this is your list of what should be available in the stores now that isn't something that they're taking out of cold storage and putting out for you to eat. It's stuff that would be fresh for now. The next one, oh, and I forgot to get part of them out of the fridge. I'll be right back. I knew I was forgetting something.
What's broccolini?
It's a broccoli, but it has a really long stem on it. I've seen it somewhere where we were recently. Oh, when we were with Kathy, that was what she had as her vegetable on her when we went out to dinner, was broccolini. And it looks like broccoli, only it doesn't have big fat heads on it. Instead it has little heads and all over stem. Something somebody's developed, I'm sure. Okay. Lots of times on recipes, you will find soy sauce, tamari, or Bragg's, and this is coconut aminos. And people I like this article because it explains what the difference is between them. And because some people don't like to use things that have been fermented. And soy sauce is produced through a fermenting process. It is made with soybeans, and they're fermented. And so it's soybeans, and it usually has some wheat and salt as well. Of all of these, soy sauce is the saltiest. So if you're trying to watch your salt intake and you really like the flavor of soy sauce, you're probably going to want to get a low sodium. They do make a low sodium. It's interesting though because the low sodium isn't that much lower, but it is lower. It's like, they say it's 40%, but then they say it's the same as something else that isn't low sodium, so I'm not quite sure about that. When I make gluten, I usually use soy sauce in my broth, and I use Bragg's in the gluten itself. Bragg's liquid aminos is not soy sauce. It is still made with soy, but it's done through a non-fermented process. And it is usually a little lower in salt because of the process they use. Tamari, and this is Tamari light, so it's light as in less salt in it. Tamari is another fermented, it's from miso, if you know what miso is. The thing about it is there is no wheat in it, so it's gluten-free. And it will usually say, if you're someone who deals with gluten-free, has a problem with it, it will make sure that when it says gluten-free on the label. Somebody who has a gluten allergy is not going to want to use soy sauce. Bragg's doesn't have wheat in it also. Bragg's doesn't have wheat in it either. Another one, my daughter uses this one a lot, and I've only just used it a few times, is the coconut liquid aminos. And it seems like it said something about that in here. Where is it? It's palm sugar and salt, coconut palm sugar and salt, to make this. And it's milder, and it also has a little bit sweeter flavor, so you would use it in something that you want a little bit more of a sweet rather than a salty. Just a little bit different flavor to it. But those are the 4 that I keep in my cupboard. Because like I said, I have some recipes that will call for tamari sauce. And I have some recipes that I go between the two because I don't want necessarily the soy sauce. I've never made up my mind which is saltier, the Bragg's or the... Some people say they think Bragg's is saltier, but to me, soy sauce tastes saltier. And maybe it's just my taste buds. But I have certain uses that I use certain ones for. So those are the 4, and there's more information in there than what I've given you just talking, but I thought that might be helpful to somebody who sees one in a recipe and says, well, can I use this in place of that? And you could. I mean, you could use soy sauce in place of Bragg's. Like I said, I use it in the broth that I cook my gluten in, but I don't use it in my gluten recipe itself. I use just because I like the flavor. But one of those things, you get a personal taste preference to some things. But I could use practically all of them interchangeably, depending on which one I like best, which one I like the qualities of it best, that fit best into my diet or your diet. The next one is just a simple little single page. And this is a new study that just came out promoting plant-based diet and for diabetes remission. And the study is another one that has been well done. They had 22 patients who achieved total remission, which is pretty good. Totally got off their medications and everything else by going on a plant-based diet. Whole food plant-based. That's what the WFPB stands for, is whole food plant-based.
And that whole food is an important part of the picture.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you end up with refined foods and messes things up.
It does. It also talks in here about low energy density foods, and this is something that I learned about. I did Zoom for a year ago or so ago, and they really promote looking at foods by their caloric density. And the whole plant-based foods are the ones with the lowest caloric density, most of them anyway. So you can eat a whole lot of those and get the same energy as something else that's very dense, and you only get a little bit. The problem is American diet tends to go very heavy on the high density foods and very low on the low density foods. All meat, potatoes, and no veggies. Not good. But, yeah. So, anyway, a nice, easy, short read. The last of the single pages that's in there, and I'm going to talk more about the other one because my demonstration has to do with the last one, is how to develop a healthy water habit. Water, your body is mostly water. Your brain needs water to function. And it's just some easy ideas to get you to drink more water. Our son finally got himself several years ago off of sodas and just drinking water. And he has no desire to drink sodas anymore, which is a great thing. Although he does have a ginger beer every once in a while, which is not beer, it's just ginger pop, basically. But, so he doesn't always stick to it. But drinking water before meals will help you to feel not eat so much, if that happens to be the problem. Carrying a water bottle, I like my water bottles in the kitchen right now, but I like my water bottle because I know how many of them I need to drink in a day to have drank the water that I'm supposed to drink in a day.
You want to say a guy attached to a water bottle.
Yes, Frank has a nice big water bottle. And his little wife next to him has a little water bottle.
About 3 times a day I fill that.
Yeah, well, they
3
say
liters.
that you should drink an ounce for every pound that you have, which is a lot of water, for me anyway, not for Kim anymore. So anyhow, ideas for getting you to drink more water so that you can be healthier. Now the last part, how many of you like smoothies? Everybody likes smoothies. I read this article and went, oh, I've been making my smoothies wrong. Because the tendency when we make a smoothie is to put lots of fruit, and fruit's very high in sugar, and it may not be, out of a sugar bowl, but it's still sugar. And so you need to watch how much of the sugar you use. When I used to make smoothies, I would probably have, I would start with a half a can of pineapple and go from there, and a banana, an apple, whatever else. And then I'd throw in my obligatory spinach. Now the reason you use spinach in smoothies is because spinach doesn't have hardly any flavor when it's raw. It's when you cook it and you put salt and butter on it that then it has flavor. Otherwise it doesn't really have a whole lot of flavor. Lots of good nutrients in it, but not a whole lot of flavor. So it makes an easy way to sneak some really good vitamins into your children's smoothie is you put a little bit of green in. So I'm going to start this smoothie with a nice healthy dose of green. And I'm going to put, we stopped using dairy milk quite some time ago when my husband decided he was going to do almond milk. And then we discovered that cashew milk actually had less carbs in it than the almond milk did. So I'm going to put a little bit of cashew milk in there because I want a little bit of liquid in the bottom. And those of you who were here when we did Eating a Rainbow, we're going to do a rainbow smoothie. So I've got my green, I've got some carrots for my orange, I've got some purple cabbage, which I like purple cabbage, for my purple. When we did our study on all the different Eating a Rainbow, we discovered that different colored fruits and vegetables have different vitamin properties to them. And so that if you eat all the different colors, you get a very balanced diet. For my yellow, I'm going to put a little bit of yellow bell pepper in there because I like yellow bell peppers. And I'm going to put some banana in for the sweetness. Banana is not yellow. What color is a banana? White.
Is white a color?
White is all the colors, actually. Blueberries for blue. That's my fruit. And red is strawberries. So I am going to put, but both blueberries and strawberries are low on the glycemic index. So they're both good sugars to have in there with my banana. See if I can get this to.
Banana not so low on the glycemic index.
No, bananas aren't, but they're the sweet.
Wait, you forgot to put the frog in.
I put spinach in for the green. It's not the most charming color, actually. It looks kind of like chocolate. Not bad. If you would like to taste, you may. They suggested, and I might agree with it on this particular one, because I did put a lot of spinach in. You can, to make it sweeter, put a little bit of cinnamon in. That will sweeten it. Or a little bit of vanilla in it, and that will sweeten it as well, if you want more sweet to it. It wasn't a really ripe banana either, so it doesn't have the riper the banana, the sweeter the flavor. But it's not bad. I would drink that. Oh, I know what I didn't put in it, and I meant to put in it. And that is, I usually put tofu in mine, because that gives you the protein. And it's usually, I do if I use a silken, I would use a quarter, a half. If I use the bigger water ones, I use a quarter for just a single one. This one I put a lot in it because I was figuring I wanted to have some samples in it.
Did you not bring any?
I did bring some tofu, I just didn't remember to bring it out with me. I can throw it in there.
Whip it up in there.
I know.
Well, if he sits over there and runs the camera.
I knew she brought some.
You were the heavy lifter.
Yeah, he was. Over with me. Heavy lifter.
We'll change the flavors though.
She is sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can put chia or flax seeds in there too, which would give you omega-3s. It's not something I usually put in a smoothie, but it was something that they recommended in the article.
Yeah, I was reading I think just yesterday, and we always put bananas in our smoothie. I was reading just yesterday that if you put ripe bananas in, which is, of course, what tastes best.
Right.
If you put ripe bananas in, they're saying it's almost like putting sugar in. They said if you put bananas before they turn really ripe,
Yeah.
that
The sugar is less.
that your body treats it totally different than it does a ripe banana.
Huh, that's interesting. But you wouldn't have that
I was always told that when the banana is not good and ripe, it's really not even digestible to the human body.
That's even better.
It just doesn't.
This article that I was reading indicated that it was digestible, but it was, the body treats it differently because it hasn't converted to sugar yet. And it enters the bloodstream much more slowly, so you don't get this big spike.
Okay. I know, I can't eat them unless they're good and ripe. I hate them when they're not ripe.
Well, see, I'm the opposite. I don't like them when they get too banana-y.
I don't like them all bruised up, but I like the skin to have spots on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice and white inside, with spots on it.
It's not as sweet as...
Hey,
I wasn't sure about the proportions for this one, so it's not quite as sweet as I would
if you
hope.
don't, then you get sweat.
Call a woman, an old lady, you're in trouble.
That's right.
She says she can taste the peppers. I wouldn't think you could because they don't have that strong of a flavor.
Go ahead.
Put the banana too.
If the banana had been riper, it would have tasted much sweeter than it does. The sage. But I think it needs more sage than what they call for it to taste sausagey to me. One for me and one for her. Sure.
This is funny, she hates bananas, me, I love bananas.
Interesting. Bananas isn't my favorite, but
Flavor wise, it needs.
it needs more
I make
sweetness.
a killer southern style banana.
You might put in a little bit of stevia.
I've been just gonna
I
say.
bring it to church for potluck sometimes.
Stevia would make it
I
perfect.
don't usually take much home with me.
Our protein is peanut butter.
Okay, well, they talk about using nut butters, which make them creamier.
Yeah. The oil that's in the peanut butter goes a long way toward making it
Yeah.
creamy and smooth.
It's not as sweet as I usually make them. But
Tastes like some vegetable.
my husband says it tastes like something vegetable.
He said put a little bit of stevia in oils to put it in your spoon.
I don't put stevia in anymore.
Oh, I thought you said you did.
No, I said this. I used to put stevia in.
It sticks to your ribs like it does this cup here.
I put 2 like bananas in. And that's plenty sweet enough.
Yeah, much more you get.
Almond butter would be good.
Sprinkle just a little on top of it.
I just need to do
It's
the
true,
stairs
yeah.
and the drawing and we're done.
It makes it taste, I still can taste the banana because I don't like bananas, so. But it makes it taste better.
Anyway, what else you put in it? Color, spinach, and peanut butter.
You can vary it, but I usually dump in some almond milk. About that much in the bottom, I buy the milk.
Put some powdered soybean.
And,
Okay, did everybody get their name in my
If you want to stir
basket?
it up there, Harold.
If you were new, did you get your name put in here?
It makes it taste.
So I will repeat what I had said with the table where I was sitting. The information that's on these shelves here, you're free to take anything that looks interesting to you there. Also, the things across the back countertop are some things that were donated, and if there's something there that strikes your fancy and you'd like to take it home, please do. The different colored folders are from different classes that we've done. They were just the folders that were left over afterwards. And the other is some health literature. The books up front are what our 2 people who get their names drawn today get to pick from. So I mix these up and spread them out. Frank, you want to pick 2 for me?
Oh, let's see, how about that one?
You can't pick your own, Frank.
I don't think Frank filled one out,
I
did you?
did,
Wendy is one, and Terry is the other.
these were supposed to be always been in them, huh?
Come up and pick one that you would like, and we will do another drawing next time as well.
Let's see,
You're right there on the
that I know is a good book. The Seven
I didn't win
Secrets.
last year.
Well, you did this
Yeah.
year. Our next class will be
That,
the last Thursday in November. I think it's the 30th. Anybody got a phone with a calendar?
Yes, November 23rd?
No, that's
the 30th.
Thanksgiving, the one after. So it'll be
30th.
the 30th, yeah. November 30th will be the next one.
Looks like lots of reading.
Yeah, that one has recipes in the back, but it's got some health information in the front. That will be our next one. Because of the holidays, I usually try and do one somewhere between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Thank you.
I was going to do it December 3rd, but unfortunately I have to go to Boise for a meeting that day, so it got bumped back one. So it will be on the 30th of November. And then we won't have another one until the end of January. Traditionally, the class is the fourth Thursday of the month. Is usually when I do them, as long as there's no conflict. And I will continue to post them out in the places I usually have, so they will come up there. For those of you who saw one of my ads, I'm so thrilled that somebody finally came from one of my ads. You don't know how happy that makes me. I've been putting those out for a year now. And what's funny is I got all kinds of responses on Idaho Falls Blessings, and they kept kicking it off. Because I hadn't put in big letters in there that it was free. They assumed that if I hadn't put free on it. So they kept kicking it off. And so this time I sent them a message and I said, why are you kicking it off? And they said, we don't post anything that's not free. So I put free across the top.
Well, got my attention.
Well, good. We're glad it did, and we're glad that you came. And I hope you enjoyed what you tried, and I hope that you learned a little bit. And like I said, there's a lot more information in that packet than what I take the time to cover in class. I'm not an expert dietitian, I'm not an expert nutritionist. I'm just somebody who cares about food and trying to make it as healthy as possible.
Fighter every step of the way.
Yes, he does.
And it will be posted.
Oh, yes, and the video will be put on YouTube. If you go to our church website, the Idaho Falls Seventh-day Adventist Church, not website, go to YouTube and look up the Idaho Falls Seventh-day Adventist Church, and all of the cooking schools that we've done are on there, all the old ones as well.
They got filmed.
They got filmed, but I think there's only one that didn't. They are not professionally done, and you may have to watch through 4 little segments from where the film got stopped and started and stopped and started to get the whole thing, but...
Yeah, we haven't quite figured out how to tie it all together.
Yeah, we're still working on that part. They are not professionally put on there, to say the least. But they are there, so that if you want to refer back, or you want to see some of the others that we've done classes on how to make gluten. We've done classes on egg substitutes. We've done one that was all on sushi, vegetarian sushi. We've done, let's see, artisan breads, and Harold did breads in bread machine for me, demonstrated that at one of them. Eating a rainbow. My plate.
Potatoes.
Oh yes, we did last year for the fall, we did potatoes. It's all about potatoes, and every dish had potatoes in it. So we've done lots of different things. So you might look back, you might find something that would catch your eye and your attention. And like I said, there are some of the handbooks left for some of the cooking classes that we've done.
Next time?
Yeah, it's going to be root vegetables. Root vegetables. So, yeah, something else, something that I caught my eye, and I thought, oh, there's my next topic. So, yeah.
We did bowls one time.
Oh, we did bowls. That was a really good one. If you want a really good one to watch, find the one that was about bowls, because eating by bowls is really cool. And it's a really neat way to get all your stuff that you need to have in a diet in one dish.
It's becoming the in thing on some of your
Well, there's a
better
restaurant.
restaurants.
Yeah, there's a restaurant here in town where you can go and you get a bowl.
You're
They don't
right
necessarily-
over here across from Walmart. You got that place.
Oh, do they, oh yeah, they have that one
Yeah, it's that-
there?
and
Yeah,
it's like
Moana's or whatever.
Asian food.
Mhm, yeah, there's that one, and then there's one on the corner of 25th and 17th, down there by the mall, too. They don't quite follow all the rules for a bowl, but yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I will do a closing prayer for us, and then if you have questions or anything else, we can.
Before you close,
Yes.
I just want to express on behalf of the church and all of us who have benefited month after month, how much we appreciate. I know there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into this, both the planning and then the preparation of the food. And I just wanted to let you know how much we really appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you, Harold.
This is the hardest working woman in the church.
Oh,
I
yay.
have no doubt in my mind.
I just try to stay out of her way.
Yeah, she gives 120%, I tell you.
That's just the way I was raised.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Well, thank you.